Let's stick with the M&A theme now in our stock of the hour. Frontier agreed to buy Spirit Airlines for $2.9 billion in cash and stock. Bloomberg's Kriti Gupta has some of the details on this low-cost airline merger.
Yeah, a 19% premium.
Not really a merger, first of all, right?
Right, it's an acquisition.
I don't know why I said that. It's an acquisition.
All good, all forgiven. Frontier acquiring Spirit Airlines, a deal, like you said, valued at $2.9 billion, a 19% premium for where shares closed for Spirit on Friday. What's important about this is that you have M&A all the time, right? But this is an ultra low-cost carrier, and in this environment, in this country, there's really only two players. It's Frontier and it's Spirit. And one of the big concerns right now in the market is this something that invites antitrust scrutiny? Do you start to see this airline deal actually invite perhaps some regulatory action from the DOJ, especially when they have a history of opposing deals, especially American and JetBlue historically? That being said, Frontier and Spirit, what this would essentially mean is that in theory, the reason antitrust is becoming an issue here is that they could actually raise prices higher, even though they're these ultra low-cost carriers, because there's no competition anymore. But
right, or even make flight conditions worse.
Exactly.
As someone who's 6'4", I can tell you it is not pleasant to fly on a low-cost carrier, or really any carrier. If you're flying in cattle class, right, they could do away with the seats.
Yeah, and you can't recline, right, Matt? Really tough for a what, 6'5" person, 6'4" person.
And shrinking.
Well, they're actually promising $1 billion in savings for the customer, so they're still trying to keep their consumer base, and that's going to be a really key part of the equation because, like I said, Spirit and Frontier, they're not making up as big of a market as, say, American, Delta, United. Those people make about 73% of the market. They only make about 5% of the airline market, but still, they're really each other's only competitors, and that's why this is so significant at a time when these two companies are actually the only ones that had the highest fuel costs relative to the industry. I think I have some numbers here. Two highest domestic fuel costs, about 28% of their sales in 2021 went just to jet fuel, and that's something you didn't see in any of its companies.
So I wonder if these companies, you know, a lot of airlines, all of them got hurt during the pandemic, during the lockdowns, but especially those who are still waiting for business travelers to come back are feeling the financial pain, whereas it's unlikely that unless you have a really mean boss, you are booking business travel on Frontier or Spirit.
Yeah, and another piece of the equation is that they're also dealing with other issues like a labor shortage. Of course, we know the pilot unions, the flight attendants unions, especially against the COVID mandates and some of those virus restrictions have been a big part of that. But compare that to some of the other transportation that you've seen, trucking, for example, or simply rail travel, and airlines have been underperforming on that front as well. And to your point about the fact that they do have a lot of expenses, well, yeah, they've been under a lot of pressure, and a lot of that has just been a dependence on federal aid as well. So there's a lot of factors simply driving the airline trade right now.